Good afternoon. It is the SAICA Thuthuka Show, and thank you so much for joining us for another amazing program, the one that you certainly want to watch. It is absolutely a privilege to be with you. My name is Dougal. As always, here's Rhoda, everybody.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome to the SAICA Thuthuka Show. Very exciting speakers today, and I'm looking forward to the show as well, Dougal.
Yeah, no, it is certainly something absolutely amazing. And we just want to tell you, of course, this is the kind of show you definitely want to be part of, because we are eagerly awaiting your questions and comments as well. So you can gladly pose that to us and as well to our speakers, of course, because we're really going to delve into the nitty-gritty, and that is what the SAICA Thuthuka Show is all about. So I'm looking forward, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this one today.
This one, definitely.
But in case you missed the previous episode, let's talk about that, Rhoda, because that was really good.
No, that was good. And you know what was so lovely about that show was students that started the program. It started with SAICA Thuthuka, and just the experiences. And now today we're actually speaking to the guys that's actually the CEOs today, and I think that makes it quite exciting for me because of last week's episodes where we were introduced to the beginners.
Yeah, and and it's when you said that, like with the students, and I think this is what makes the show really special. So if you're watching this as an educator, a learner, a parent, and you thinking of a chartered accountancy as a career path, then this is why you're watching this show. And as you said, that is what we touched based on last week, which was absolutely amazing. And of course, with all the really amazing, and let's call it a modern marvel. That's what I'm going to call Thuthuka, because it's really what it is. So we heard from the trainees, from the camps and everything that happens with the wonderful bursary that it is, and of course, the subject choices that you got to do in order to follow this career path. What is it like to study? And of course, the possibilities that this designation of being a CASA leads to. And like you said, today we're talking to the chartered accountants.
To the chartered accountants.
To the CAs.
And also last week's episode, you know what what basically hit home for me as well, Dougal, was the fact that once you get into this program, and with the Thuthuka program as well, there's somebody holding your hand all the time. You've got the support, you've got the information, there's always somebody that will be able to assist you. Yeah,
and that was absolutely special. But yes, as we always say, when you look at a chartered accountant, it is certainly not just somebody that crunches numbers. The analytical skills, of course, place a chartered accountant in high demand in all sectors, and they are business leaders basically everywhere. So it is absolutely wonderful today that on the SAICA Thuthuka Show, we will be talking to 3 chartered accountants with the designation of CASA. So we're going to introduce you to Sherwin Thomas today, to Rushdie Sali, as well as to Stephanie Bugan. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here on the SAICA Thuthuka Show. Good afternoon and welcome. How are you guys doing? Sherwin.
Thank you for having us here today. It's a great pleasure to be with you guys on the show today.
Absolutely amazing to have you along with us. We've got so many questions for you, and I think, Sherwin, let's start off with you as well. Let's start off with you with the first one. Just tell us about your current life as a CASA, but sort of give me the picture, paint the picture for me. Basically, what have you been up to since the start of lockdown?
So since the start of lockdown, I actually qualified as a CA and started as a audit manager at Deloitte in the financial services division. So I've been about a manager for about a year and 8 months, you could say, a year and 8 months, roughly.
Oh, okay.
Lovely.
So yeah, so that is, and it's been an exciting bit so far?
Yeah, it's a very exciting bit. Learned a lot along the way and still learning. I feel that one never stops learning as a CA because you get exposed to so many things in life.
Yeah.
So true, so true. And Rushdie, can you tell us about your experience?
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story. I do appreciate it. So I had eventful last few months during lockdown, etc. So my journey started off in Switzerland. So when lockdown happened, I was in Switzerland, and then because of the whole COVID-19, I was unable to continue with my secondment. So my secondment got cut short, and then I had to return to South Africa, where basically I joined EY Cape Town in the mergers and acquisition team. Okay. So I was there for a stint of about 9 months, during which I also started my own company. So I started my own company, and at this point in time, the company survived its first year. We We employ about 30 CAs at the moment, but I'll give you guys more clarity on that during the call. And then after that, in February, the 15th of February, I decided to take a career break. So I resigned at EY Cape Town in the Mergers and Acquisition Department. I took a career break for about 5 months, and then I relocated to London. I'm currently situated in London, where I'm working for a oil and gas company. And yeah, that's basically it from my side.
Yeah.
Excellent. And yeah, sorry, this is exactly what we're chatting about. You know, where you basically travel internationally, and I mean, there's a proof in the pudding.
Yeah. So that is where you find yourself currently, Rushdie. And of course, you mentioned other European countries there as well. You've been up and about. So now, considering things when lockdown came, how did work change?
So it was difficult initially because the world wasn't expecting a global pandemic, and now we will shift across from working in a teaming environment to working from home. But that just shows the resilience of our qualification, because within the CA profession, majority of us kept our jobs, whereas in other fraternities we saw there was a massive employment loss, the unemployment rate increased. And that was also one aspect that I found that when reflecting back on lockdown, is that's one aspect that I'm very grateful for the CA profession, is that we were able to trade and continue our business as normal within a lockdown environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, you know what? Thank you for putting things in perspective, because we definitely want to get the complete perspective, you know, of what it is like to be a CA, and you know, and the journey that we've got a brief, we've got a very detailed sort of picture in our minds as well, and our viewers from the journey. But we certainly want to get into the nitties and gritties
of that as well. And Stephanie, I do believe you there. Could you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, sorry for being late. I just had a work call that ran over. But again, thank you for the opportunity, for inviting me to join this platform. And my journey, similar to Rushdie and Showan, I qualified at the end of 2019, yes, beginning 2020. And I stayed with EY. We had done my articles, and I am not in audit though. I am in the transactions and diligence team. So yeah.
Okay, excellent.
So that is it. And Stephanie, let me ask you this. So since COVID has set in, obviously you've been really busy as well.
Very busy, and starting a completely new job, still in the CA profession, just completely different to what I've previously done. I only had worked with the team for like 2 months at office, and then all of a sudden COVID hit and we had to work from home. So the learning curve was rough, but thanks to technology, we made it through, and we like Rushdie echoed. I'm grateful that I still have a job, no salary cuts, nothing. We continued as normal. It's just working from home as opposed to from office.
Yeah. So that definitely gives us a perspective once we had the lockdown that came in. So Xavier Poole has got a comment there on the screen for us. Xavier, thank you so much for watching. He says, that's my mentor. And are you referring now to Stephanie Bugan? It could be Rushdie or Sherwood, we're not sure, but one of them will definitely know Xavier Poole. But we definitely appreciate your questions and comments, so please keep them coming. Now, to all three of you, okay, so we know how busy you are, and of course that things have, the work and technology has assisted, and especially you, as you've all of you have qualified within the past few years. Then lockdown came. Now, in your career span, and this is where we get into it, because this really gives us the insight of what life is like as a CASA. Give us a snapshot, and I'm just touch on a couple of highs and lows over the last few years in this time. I mean, you must have many highs and lows. Rushdie, let's start with you.
So from my perspective, since I was a student, my main objective, or one of my goals, was to travel the world. And within the CA profession, I got that opportunity to travel the world. And fortunately enough, within the short time of lockdown, I got that opportunity twice where I was seconded to Switzerland for a stint and now living currently located in London. So that's definitely one of the highs from a career perspective. Working in a different country, you can see different perspective on life, different way of how they live, etc., etc. So that's definitely my one high. And then the second high, and the one that I think I'm most proud of, is starting my own company. So I've always had a dream of starting my own company, and I was fortunate enough to do so during lockdown. And yeah, so that's definitely two of the highest thus far in my career. And then from a low perspective, it's just this work-life balance. I think a lot of people will suffer from this, especially from working from home, where the lines between your personal life and your work life is quite blurred because you're working from home. Yeah. So that was definitely a low from my side, where initially when we transitioned into this period, there wasn't quite a clear-cut distinction between between work and personal life. And then the last thing is definitely the cutting short of my secondment. I thought that I had a lot more opportunities that I could have pursued in Switzerland, but due to COVID, it was unexpected. So that was the low from my side, but still a privilege to be part of that program.
Now, Rushdie, on that, let me just go back. So as you mentioned there, you said it was a dream for you to start like your own business. Now, when we look at how many entrepreneurs and people who start businesses are actually chartered accountants, do you think everything you've known up until that point, that definitely gave you all the tools, the equipment to actually pursue that dream and go full steam at that endeavor?
That's actually a very heated question, and I can discuss that. I had a many discussion with fellow friends and colleagues regarding that. It's that the experience and the expertise that I gained up until that point where I cognitively decide to start the business was 100% due to the CA profession, because leading up to qualifying as a CA, you get exposure to speaking in corporate events, you get experience from a teaming environment, and now you use all of these pervasive skills and apply it to your business. And I think we do have a competitive advantage in that instance because we're thinking about the financials, we're thinking from teaming perspective. So I definitely think that a lot of my success is directly linked to the experience that I received within the CA profession.
Oh, that sounds so brilliant.
No, and that is important. It is important to get sort of the proof on the pudding. And thank you for putting it so succinctly. says Thuthuka at its finest, with lots of love. Yes, certainly. And it does sound that way, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Stephanie, can I there another one. Was there Tula Minkezi. Great to be part of the show. Welcome. Stephanie, can I ask you your high and your lows? You know, what have your experiences been? Are you there, Stephanie? I think Stephanie is just taking a breather there quickly. Could you pose that question to you, Sherwin?
So I think one of my highs was probably qualifying as a CA, because I started off as a dream and then I was able to achieve my dream. And then the next high was actually going on a secondment to Stamford, Connecticut in the US.
Wow.
So my client, the nice thing about that was my client was actually, or majority of my audit team was stationed in the New York office. So every morning I took about an hour's train trip from Stamford, Connecticut into New York. So just sitting on that train amongst all these business people was just, it was something you see and you imagine, but you never thought you would be able to find yourself in that situation. So I found myself there, walking on the streets of New York on my way to office, everyone just focused on getting to office in the business mind. So I was quite high, working in one of the biggest financial districts in the world. And then the low of it actually came back where it was cut short due to COVID. So lucky for me, I landed back into the country the day before we went into lockdown.
Wow.
If I were to leave the day after, I was almost stuck in Qatar, in Doha, transiting. So when I got onto the flight there, they actually told us that was the last flight to Cape Town. Wow. So I was almost stranded in Doha.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
In a
That's
lot of
scary.
ways, that is almost like winning the lotto, getting the flight back, I must say. But apart from that, so, I mean, I can just imagine, I mean, there you are, hub of finance for the world. It's Wall Street, New
Yeah.
York, the Essence, the Pace,
Wow.
all of this. I can just see you
Dream
sitting
come
there
true.
doing all of that. Reflecting back on that experience, I mean, how, going forward into your career, and let's just take COVID-19 and the pandemic, let's just take that out of the way. But just looking at the experience and the time that you had in the US, how do you think that has skilled you and equipped you for your career, and especially for the demands of the career? Because also you have now, in a lot of ways, you would have experienced a lot of things that a lot of people would dream about.
Yeah, so it's just, I realized that New York is a very fast-moving paced country, or city, especially business environment. Everyone's trying to achieve what they set out to do for the day. So I've kind of picked up that sense, and I've brought it to my daily life here in South Africa as well, where if I commit myself and I set myself towards it, I can achieve it. And that's everyone. I don't think it's just applicable to me. That's applicable to everyone out there. If you set your mind towards achieving something, you can do it.
Oh my, definitely. Stephanie, I'm not sure if you're back, if you can hear me. So the question was basically, what was your highs and your lows over the last few years, obviously being a CASA, just your highs and lows, just a few.
So I'll start with the lows. So one of the lows was not when I was studying, I didn't make it into PGDA the first time around. So I think that was the turning point for me in my career, or the journey towards CA, because I had to choose if I'm going to stay on and redo my final year, or if I will go through to UNISA and just do my honors over there. And Betty knows about the struggle. So I contacted a couple of people and just to get their views, and eventually decided to just repeat my final year to better my marks and get into PGDA. Thank God that worked out. And yeah, I'm here now. One of the highs, I think, was qualifying. It sounds weird, but just knowing the journey that it took to get there and just qualifying at the end was just like amazing, because I didn't expect to pass board 2 because it was quite a difficult paper.
Yeah.
And Sherwin, I'm not exposing you, but Sherwin and I basically in preparation for board 2, we took the scenic, well, I took the scenic route and I wrote every paper in that board exam. I had to go rewrite, and I was like, it's fine as long as I rewrite in preparation of the final. I am not willing to come back and rewrite my board 2. So just getting that results on the 15th of February, of 2019 was one of the biggest highlights, because it was like the end is near finally.
Oh my word.
And let me just take, Stephanie, let me just take you back, because you mentioned the date there. I mean, that emotion, that joy, the happiness, that is clearly that's going to be a physical memory for you forever. What was it like in one word?
Well, not to expose myself anymore, but I hid my phone. We got our results at 4 o'clock. I hid my phone. I told my siblings. We had a lunch. I left it early. I was like, I'm not going to pass. It's just, I don't think I made it. And I told my siblings not to wake me up. I told them if they hear my phone, do not answer it. Just leave it. And she started laughing. And I was just like, I think it was like at 4:30. I was like, it is what it is. Just go look at that SMS. And when I saw the SMS and I saw pass, I was like, wait. I read it again. I was like, this is actually my name. And it says I passed. I just started crying and I prayed and I done everything in one. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was quite a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you, Stephanie. And I think, for the fact that if we look at how many years and how much sacrifice and how much time you guys put into being a CA, it's not something easy, obviously. And I can just imagine, I think I would have been crying with you if that results came through, definitely.
But I like the thing that you're all touching on camaraderie there. I really like it. But we've got a question in that's Letukotula Mkize, who says the market is continuously changing. From your guys' view, where do you see the CA profession in years to come? There's a suggestion that accountancy will be replaced by systems and robots. And I suppose maybe not just accountancy, but we hear that about a lot. But there is that suggestion. And it's a brilliant question because, and let me, as young and as very skillful people as you are, you obviously envisioning this career path, this journey that you're on. You obviously see, and in your mind, you probably dream about it, what is going to happen 10 years, 5 years, 20 years from now. When you look at that, and you look at the Thuthukula's text there as well, or the viewpoint, where do you see that? Sherwin, let's put that to you. What do you think on that?
So, a robot can never replace a human. Robotics coming in and data coming in will only free up our time to spend more time analyzing the data that the robot gathers. So you can't put professional skepticism into a robot. So I will just free up time, and you could cover more things with robotics in, but it will never replace a human. A CA, I feel, will never be replaced. There will always be a market for CAs out there.
Yeah,
Yes,
I like that, and thanks for that,
that.
because it is as you say, that is it. And Thuthukotula, thank you very much for that message as well. But we'll move on, because Rhoda's got Lauren Poole says your business is amazing, Rushdie, and we're going to find out more about it. We're going to ask him about it. We're still getting to it, but yeah, thanks for reminding us as well. But let's move on, because the one thing all three of you touched on was the camaraderie.
That's right.
You test there with people you could turn to, and we constantly hear that. And I cannot just help myself, but saying that is what a Thuthuka student goes through, and that is how it probably have shaped your journey. So let's ask you that. And Stephanie, let's start with you. How was being a Thuthuka student? How did that shape your journey to do this?
So, firstly, I was one of the very few people from my school to go to UWC. So, the fact that there was a platform or a family, so to say, I can't put that, but a family that was basically there for you in terms of I never had to struggle alone. It was never something like the CA journey, you can't do it by yourself. You need people, even when you're studying or when you're in the, now that you are CA, you still need people. And that, just falling back on that and knowing that there's people in the journey with me, struggling with me, going through the motions with me, just helped a lot. And it was always, because I was the first to study in my family, study at university in my family. And they weren't always, when I told them I didn't write very well or I think I'm going to fail, it was never that. It was like, didn't you study type of a question, like, why do you think you're going to fail? And they could never fully relate to what you were going through, just having people there to relate. And you know the amount of work you put in, yet you still get that fail mark. You know the amount of stress you go through, yet you still fail, or you don't do as well as you would have liked to do. So just always having people around going through the same journey was, I think, the biggest blessing to me personally.
Yeah.
So true. And then,
I love that.
Yeah, I'm loving that. And you know what? This is what I hear all the time, Stephanie, Show and Ruchi, that Thuthuka is really, like you Dougal said, the camaraderie. You guys are tight, you are close. And Ruchi, how was that for you in the Thuthuka as well?
So I won't lie to you, there's some lifelong friends that I made through Thuthuka, Stephanie, Sherwin. There's a lot of us that we've traveled the journey together, and it's been how many years now? About 5 to 4 years post my university career, and I'm still in contact with these people. So that's just testifies to the quality of the relationships that you build within Thuthuka. And then while Stephanie was speaking, I just realized now, and important realization happened back when I was in PGDA. So when you're on the Thuthuka bursary, you actually take it for granted that your fees get paid for you. So during that time, I realized what of a privileged position I was in, where certain students didn't have the financial backing or the financial stability to just focus on their studies and not worry from a financial perspective. And that was the biggest aspect that Thuthuka brought to the party, is that they said that we'll provide from a financial perspective as well as a support, as Stephanie has mentioned. And so our sole duty was just to focus on us and study and make sure that we achieve our goals set out for the year. So that's another aspect that I was definitely grateful from a Thuthuka perspective.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, and I must say, you all, everybody, and Rhoda said this now, everybody says the same thing, and that is just brilliant. And Sherwin, I mean, when you hear that, and there Rushdie has said it, lifelong friends, surely the Thuthuka has played an immense part in shaping your journey as well.
I couldn't have put it any better than what Rushdie has put it, but just to add on, it's friends that you can't replace. Even when I was at university, like the Thuthuka paid my fees, they paid my books, they paid my accommodation. All I needed to do was, but studying is not easy. So when I had a problem, I could reach out to Rushdie. So Thuthuka gave me that family where when I'm at university, I had friends, and I would call them family, where I could reach out to and they could assist me wherever I would struggle. So I didn't just have my blood family back at home, I had my Thuthuka family as well.
Thank you for putting it so succinctly. And we've got more questions coming your way, so absolutely brilliant. But we've got some observations here. And Xavier Poole, thank you, Xavier, who says, as a CA, you do not only do accounting, the professor sets you up to do more than just accounting. Look at all three of the CA essays that we have here, our guests today. All of them are... And sorry, I lost the last bit. So all of them are doing something far different from accounting, and that is really what you guys are doing. It's you're dabbling here, dabbling there as well. And the comment continues, which we're going to get up for you as well now in a short little bit. Say a CA essay is like a doctor, and an accountant is like the nurse. Okay, so he's putting us in our place. Yes, Rhoda.
He's putting us in our place.
He's giving us the example. Thank you, Xavier.
And then the next one.
And he goes on to say that a CA is the doctor of commerce. All right. So
well done,
and it is like that. Thank you, Xavier. It is like that. Stephanie, when you hear that, it is that, isn't it?
That's I don't know what to say.
Just say yes.
Just say yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you maybe want to say on that, Sherwin?
I don't think we're limited to doctors. CAs can actually become anything. CA is just a designation. The world is your oyster.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Excellent. So guys, could you tell us, obviously you had to be SAICA trainees as well. Could you tell us about that journey that you guys undertook? And could I start with Sherwin, seeing that you were on there, Sherwin?
So I finished my GDA at UCT, and then I started 3 years of articles at Deloitte. There were some ups and downs during that period, but there was a lot of learning and a lot of interaction with people I would have never been exposed to. So I could interact with CEOs, CFOs of different companies. I was able to get to know their thought process around doing things. And that's something I went into the CA articles thing with, of identifying or being exposed to people with different mindsets, different ways of doing business. And that's something that I want to take forth one day and start my own business in doing.
So obviously, just looking at the training that now you've basically done studying and you have to go to your articles. And I think what I'm liking about this obviously is the fact that this is exactly where you guys get your experience, and like you said, you're looking at the other guys that's actually achieved it, and this is your mentors at the end of the show.
Yeah, so it's actually the people you interact with, it's majority of the time, not majority, but a lot of the time, CAs that have gone through the same process that you have gone through. So they understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you also get exposed to them. And like I said, they've got different ways of doing. Each one knows how to make their business successful, and you get exposed to that. Successful businesses.
Excellent, excellent.
So when we look at the journey of a SAICA trainee, and considering what Sherwin has just said there, Rushdie, for you as a SAICA trainee, you were also exposed to, as he said, CEO sign and kind of get into the pace of what the career is all about?
Yes, 100%. So similar to Sherwin, I was also exposed on that level. However, there's one aspect that I wanted to make mention, and hopefully the Thuthuka students that's watching and take this advice on, is that there's an option of becoming an academic trainee. So in my first year of articles, I had the privilege enough to be offered academic traineeship, as well as Stephanie also got offered at the UWC, and I had the privilege of being an academic trainee at UCT. And reflecting back is that there's a lot of pervasive skills as a CA that I gathered during that year, like from public speaking perspective, from teaching, from taking a complex topic and being able to simplify it. So if there's any one of you guys that is in a situation where you have a passion for teaching, I would definitely 100% recommend you pursue the academic trainee, because there is a lot of opportunities that you might not necessarily get at the corporate level.
At the corporate level. Oh, that makes
And
a lot of sense.
That is sound advice. Thanks for
Very
sharing
sound
that.
advice, definitely, especially for our guys who's actually entering this career as well. Stephanie, what was your journey like?
So I had a journey similar to Rushdie's, where I had done academic training for the first year at UWC. And I echo what Rushdie is saying. If you know your passion, or if you're passionate about teaching and helping others, and your university allows you to do so, I definitely recommend the academic trainee route. But bearing that in mind, it does limit your articles at your firm. So you come in as a first year for 3 months, and then all of a sudden you expected to be a second year within the first 4 months of your articles at your audit firm. So personally for me, that's coming from academic training and now having to join the audit firm, which was EY, Cape Town. It was rough. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a very, very steep learning curve. And I didn't get exposed to some things that my fellow trainees would have been exposed to in their first year. But with that being said, I got other skills I learned other skills that they necessarily were not exposed to, as Rushdie mentioned. So yeah, it's a personal thing, and you need to make sure that it's right for you, because coming into articles, I'm not going to say it's easy. Articles in itself is difficult, but just not having it to do it over 2 years as opposed to 3 years makes it more difficult, even more difficult. So there is things that there's the pros and there's the cons, but you need to make it work for yourself.
Yeah. Do you know, I like what you're saying, and it is definitely a point of interest, because we have one or two questions related to exactly to what you say, and we're gonna just pose this up there. So EXT, thank you so much for asking this question, and this relates to the bursaries. It says, do you pay back the bursary after completing your studies, and what happens if you fail or you decide to change your field of study? Now, Rushdie, let me put that question to you. What happens?
So from a bursary perspective, it's 100% funded through SAICA, so you don't have any obligation to pay back any money. The only thing that from a bursary perspective is that you are allocated to a firm. So you don't get the luxury of choosing which firm you get or you do your articles at. However, the options within the firms are across the big four. So you have options, like you're not going to be limited to only small enterprises. And then from a failure perspective is that I think I'll hand over that to Stephanie, because she dealt with that over her life over academic program.
And let's do that. Stephanie, let's take that hot potato on, because I'm sure all of that information will be available on the websites as well once we give the information. But if you had to change your course, I mean, what happens?
Well, I don't know if you have to change your course, but just a correction, I never failed. I just had to repeat the final
There you
year.
go.
Sorry.
And luckily for me, well, it's not lucky, it's God. Sorry for bringing God in, but it was pure God. The year I repeated, in that year, UWC, SAICA, Thuthuka decided to cover that year as well for the
Brilliant.
those that were repeating. So that was an exceptional year where they done that. And the year after that, they said they're not going to do it anymore. So I was very blessed in that sense. So yeah, you don't have to pay back anything. That your tertiary education is basically a donation to you. You just have to make it work and put in the hard work.
Yeah, and that is what it is. It is basically that. Now we've got a couple of more questions, and it goes. It's just going to take us back to when you were saying about the academic trainees that we want to get in here as well. And actually, Sammy says, what if you want to do articles with a banking firm? So I want to put that one out there. And also I'm going to pose another question for you. So I want you guys to remember this one. What if you want to do your articles with a banking firm? So keep that there. Also, Ashley Sammy says, what are the requirements of being an academic trainee? Which is important. And let's put that to you, Stephanie. What are the requirements of being an academic trainee?
So it's different for each university, but for UWC specifically, and again, I'm speaking to when I had to qualify to be an academic trainee, you had to apply, and based on your marks, it was marks driven. You were either offered the position or you weren't offered the position.
Yeah. Okay. So it was that. And Sherwin, listening to that, let me ask you this, because I mean in New York, and I'm just putting it to you because in New York you saw banks everywhere, right? So what if you want to do your articles with a banking firm?
So I would advise if you want to do your articles at a banking firm is that you create a relationship with that banking firm as a Thuthuka student. So when it comes to the time of allocation, the banking firm would let the Thuthuka know that, listen, yeah, I've got a relationship with this student. I would like this student to be allocated to me to do academic articles through at my banking firm. That's if you wanted to Thuthuka bursary.
Excellent. And thank you for putting it so succinctly. Now, Xavier Poole said earlier, Rushdie motivated me to become, me and Eminem to become academic trainees where we are at the moment. It is a huge and an amazing opportunity, and of course, learning a lot. And that endorses.
Wow.
Just it just rubber stamps everything. It is just absolutely brilliant. And I mean, and if the three of you don't mind me saying, in your career span so far, I mean, all I hear is opportunities, the support, and this is really about. This is what it's about, and this is what the SAICA Thuthuka Show is there. It is just to evidence that you have the support and you have those opportunities
as well. Definitely. So obviously, if you guys can tell us different jobs and opportunities, as Dougal has said, as a CA, could you mention basically, obviously now you got your jobs, these opportunities. What was your highs and lows in finding this in different jobs opportunities in the CA? Could you give us a bit on that, Sherwin?
As I mentioned earlier, the world's your oyster. I've heard of CAs being in different roles. I'm personally still in auditing, and I'm enjoying being a manager in financial services. And also, being a CA can make you travel all over the world. So South Africa's CA designation is highly recognized across the world. So if you move from South Africa to the UK, you're still recognized as a highly qualified individual. So you're not exposed, and you're not limited to work at an audit firm or at a consulting firm. You can literally do whatever you want to as a CA.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So when you look at, I mean, as you said, I mean, the adage you used, your world is your oyster, really sums it up. Because if you look across all sectors, there's that designation, really. Now, Rushdie, if we were to ask you that question, the different job opportunities, and also the fact that you've started a business.
Started a business, yeah.
And we want to bring this in here. So not only has it given you that opportunities, but it's also exposed you to things you probably never thought of if you weren't on this path.
Yeah, so just from the job opportunity to add to Sherwin's comment is that I've recently gone through the whole recruitment process because I relocated to London, and then only once I got to London, I reached out for employment. And then once I got here, over the last 2 months or so, I realized how well recognized our credentials as a CASA is. The opportunities are endless within the UK alone. So they would have asked, are you a CA? And then bang, immediately you get an interview. So that accreditation, I only got the true essence and the power of that accreditation once I started seeking employment within the UK. So the opportunities abroad are endless, and we have to give SAICA the credit as well for promoting our profession and making sure that our profession is a worldwide degree. So that's the one thing I just wanted to add. And then from my company, from the business perspective, I won't lie to you, the opportunities that I gathered from within starting my own business. One story I would like to share with you is that last year in October sometime, I caught myself on a call with a partner of a big four firm. And I'm like, I'm a guy that grew up in Hanover Park. It's like opportunities like that, speaking to a partner, selling your business to someone that's a head of a global firm or a national or a South African firm, and we negotiating on a one-on-one basis, and he's referring to me as a business opportunity. I had to pinch myself after the call saying that, how did I get that opportunity? And then afterwards I realized it's because of the hard work and opportunities that Thuthuka provided me with, I found myself in that position. And definitely I'm 100% grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah. No, you know what? I like what you're saying, and may I just say, we just wish you the best, because
definitely.
and it is also, you know, just it is a brave decision to do. But I like the fact that you said that you have the support, you equip with the skills, the tools, and of course, and just the sort of the ability, I suppose, because this is what it is. Once you like-minded people, the talk's the same. You get inspired and to actually taking on the challenge. So, just simply the best.
So
Stephanie, if we ask you, when you look at, I mean, and the scope that you find yourself in as well, with your designation, all the opportunities that are available. I mean. And just to take you back at the day they told you, no, you've passed. I mean, every time you hear probably of new opportunities, you've got to pinch yourself, I suppose.
That's very true. Something I just wanted to highlight that I didn't highlight is I've personally know of people that once they graduated from university with their various degrees, they struggled to get a job. And I didn't have to go through that. I walked into a job, I knew where I was going to work in my third year already of undergrad.
Yeah.
So that is a big blessing, very big blessing, because I personally know people that finished their degrees and up to 2 years they were at home just waiting or looking for a job. And then similarly again, once I qualified, before I even qualified, I knew where I was going to go. Making the decision to go where I went was a bit more difficult because the world is literally your oyster. And you have to, because I was dabbling with, do I want to go back to lecturing? Do I want to stay in audit, or do I want to go the route that I'm currently in, which is valuations and due diligence? So that decision was difficult, mainly because it's a lot of different things, but the designation allows the opportunity for you to do it. So just making that decision, and don't speak to every advice from my side. Speak to people, but don't speak to too many people that your decision does not become your own anymore. Because at the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. Like Rushdie and Sherwin, I did not go overseas. I chose to stay in South Africa, but that was for my personal reasons. And that was the choice I had to make for myself and not follow the gravy train, if I could put it that way, but stay true to myself and what it is that I want to do with the CASA designation.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, Stephanie. Stephanie, so I'm going to just put this out there, basically. And I've kind of looked at the stats as well regarding CAs and women CAs out there, and especially women of color. You know, have you got any advice out there for ladies out there that might be looking at this and thinking, oh, I don't think I can, oh, CA is for men, or maybe I can. Is there any advice you could give those girls that's basically wanting to be a CA, looking at you? Is there any advice you could give these girls at the end of the day? Because as we all know, the stats are quite low, you know, for the ladies out there.
It's very low, and even lower for women of color. And advice I have to women of color specifically, not singling her out, but just it's a tough environment. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. And being a person of color makes it even tough, because as much as we would like the society to have changed by now, there are still instances where you are faced with, you are assumed to know less because of your skin color. And that's unfortunate, but that is the reality out there. It was for me personally, but subsequently it has changed a lot. So it's a very sticky topic to talk about, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring it up, but I am going to say true to myself and say true to what I said I was going to do, and just the good, the bad, the ugly, just put it all out there so that you're not coming into the situation blind. You are coming into the situation prepared.
There we go.
And you had to fight for where you are now. Just continue to fight. It's if you really want it, you can get it.
There we go.
You just need to have thick skin.
Oh yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving it.
And you gotta, and you know what? I'm sitting there and I just want you to go on, and I'm like, come on, and because this is it. This is really it, and it is important. Absolutely, so important to hear that, and thank you for sharing that with us as well. Now. We got another question here quickly in a comment which I'm going to put to you guys. Olivetu Ketse, thank you for bringing this. Olivetu says, does it not put you at a disadvantage with other trainees when you're an academic trainee, seeing as though you'll be a year behind the rest of the trainees? Now, this is just taking us back to our former discussion point. So, Sherwood, let's put this to you. Does it put you back the year behind? Does it do all that?
So I don't personally do academic articles post-studying, but if I had to put myself in their shoes or those that I've worked with so far, it doesn't put you at a disadvantage. You're a bit of a disadvantage in the first few months to catch up to the technology your firm uses or the way of doing things. But I would say after the first 6 months of your second year, you're on the par with the rest of the second years. So it's just a bit of an adjustment of being an academic article versus an audit trainee, but after your first 6 months, there's no difference between you and someone who started out year one.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So basically, so there's no disadvantage. I mean, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, it's just all I would say is an adjustment having to come from a university into a working environment.
Okay.
Thank you for putting that there. Let's do another question quickly. Thank you, EXT, for asking this. Can you get a bursary for an internship at a firm? Can you get a bursary for an internship? Does that exist? Is it possible? And I'm going to just put it up to the floor. Any three of you would want to grab that one.
I'll take that
please.
one.
We knew it was going to be you. You knew it's you.
So each firm has their own requirements in terms of if you want to do articles. They set criteria that each firm sets. So you would have to reach out to the firm, get to know what the requirements are, and then apply for it.
Okay. Absolutely
Okay.
brilliant. Guys,
Sure.
can I just say thank you very much because can I just say thank you very much for putting everything so succinctly. It is absolutely brilliant, and thank you once again for those questions or comments. Just keep them coming.
Keep them coming. So guys, I'm going to take you back, way back. And obviously you remembering yourself as a learner, what advice, if you were now obviously a learner and you looking now at the show and this person is on the show now, obviously now you're the one sitting there, there's the learners that's sitting watching you now. Listening to you now, what advice would you like to hear? What would you basically give those learners right now that's watching you?
And let's
I think
start.
I'm
Let's
gonna
start with
I was going to
Rushdie on
say, let's
this.
start with Rushdie on this one.
So the advice I'll give a learner is that I would do it all over again. So if I was back in first year and knowing what I know now, I would go back to first year and do the exact same journey. So
Wow.
that's my advice. Or if I had to give myself advice, sitting in first year, that's the reassurance that I'll give myself, saying that I will do it all over again. So it's worth it. All the stress, all the anxiety, all the late nights is definitely worth it.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Rushdie, on that, let me
Love
ask you:
it.
when did you make your mind up and said, "I want to do this"? When was that moment for you?
So that realization happened back in 2000. I don't know what year, but it's grade 10. I realized that I'm very business mind orientated. So I always wanted to start my own company. But then I had a mentor at that time and he guided me in saying that it just doesn't happen overnight. You need to make sure that you educate yourself in that regards. And then I found out more about the CA journey. I joined the Thuthuka camp as a learner, and that just engraved or re-emphasized that the CA journey ticks all the boxes for me. And that was the decisive factor. So at the end of June, in my matric year, once I completed the whole Thuthuka camp, I knew exactly I wanted to be a CA. And then my goals basically became more narrowed, saying that I need to get into a accredited university so that I can pursue this dream.
Yeah. You're not the first
Beautiful.
person to really give homage to the Thuthuka camp. I can assure you that.
Definitely.
And everything I hear is just brilliant. I want to go on this camp. I'm packing my bags tonight. So we're doing it. Sherwin, and I want to ask you the same question. There's Sherwin now. Sherwin and Sherwin Thomas. What would you say to young Sherwin Thomas? But what would you say to learners, people that are at high school, grade 10, the matriculants? What would you say to them, looking back at your journey, to inspire somebody to become a chartered accountant?
So, two things. Nothing difficult comes easy, and everything starts with a goal. If you can set yourself that goal that I want to become a CA, you can work towards achieving that goal. Even set yourself small goals, just to put progress in and achieving it. But everything starts with a goal. My dream of becoming a CA started with a goal, and here I am today.
The goal. And obviously, Sherwin, when did that little bell go off for you? Or when did that realization happen for you?
So funny thing, it actually happened at the Thuthuka camp. So I went there to the Thuthuka camp in my matric year in the July holidays. I was like, I'm going to go study economics after I'm done with school. But then at the camp, I got exposure to the CA. And at that camp, I made the goal. I set myself the goal. One day I'm going to become a CA. And I set forth on that goal. And today I qualified. And a year ago, I would say a year and a half ago, I qualified as a CA.
So just to
High
put
five
it
to you.
succinctly, you leaving for the camp on the Friday, or if it was over the weekend, and you were like, yeah, I'm interested. During the camp, you went, I'm doing this. That is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I went to the camp to go and have a good time.
There's it!
That's what we-
I
I
knew
that's
it.
at the
mate.
camp as well.
There you
But I
go.
got to learn so much about the CA route and the CA designation that I changed my mind and to study CA at the camp.
Yeah. See, then, we get it. You know what, Stephanie, I'm sure you're going to mention the camp. You have to now. The pressure's on you. Young Stephanie, is watching this, but not only that, and also young girls, learners are watching this, parents are watching this, educators, the teachers, everybody is watching this going, we need CAs, we need young, strong individuals going forward, shaping the society that we want. What is there that you would say to a young Stephanie, a young learner, to say, come on, you can do this, you can walk this journey with this designation of a CASA? What is there that you would say, Stephanie?
I didn't go to the camp as a learner, firstly, so I can't mention the camp. But what I will say is, there was a saying that was said on the camp when I was there as a leader, which was, I can't remember it exactly, but don't let your circumstances limit your future. And that right now is true today, it will be true tomorrow, and it will continue to be true. Because often coming from a disadvantage or not the best area, you are limited to statistics that you are either fall pregnant as a female, or you will do dead-end jobs working as a cashier, whatever the case may be. But that's not necessarily the case. You need to make the decision that, are you going to let your current circumstances limit your future, or are you going to rise above your current circumstance and just continue to work your way to a better future, not for yourself only, but for yourself, your family, and those to come.
Yeah.
So I guess to round it up is just believe in yourself firstly. Trust that, for me personally as a Christian, trust that God will take you through the path and through the journey that you're meant to follow. And don't let your current circumstances limit your future.
Yeah. I like what you say.
There are a lot of bursaries out there. You just need to apply for it, and you just need to put yourself out there. That's a simple truth. Just ask for help.
Yeah. I like what you said, and I want to ask each three of you, because all of you speak about the work that you got to do, and you got to have your goals. I mean, sure, when you put it succinctly, the goals. Rushdie, you mentioned a mentor. Stephanie said your circumstances can't define you. Your vision, your dream is what's going to define you. Now, when you look at the support that we've spoken about, we've heard, and you guys have alluded to, from the Thuthuka, going through the SAICA training, all of that, when you look at all of that, and this is really a personal question, and let me just preface this by saying a bit of a naughty question that I'm going to ask you, because when you're part of this journey, you're going through that, before you actually get the designation, surely there must have been people that were like, this is tough, man, this is not going to work, shouldn't do that. And when you have those kind of challenges, and they normally come from your immediate surrounds, it's just head down and you keep going, right? Because you got your vision. Did any of you ever experience that? And maybe not so bluntly, but then you look around you, you've got the support, and you're thinking, oh, we can do this because I know where I want to go. Rushdie.
So definitely that is the case, especially from a person that within the community where we come from. Going to study is not the first thing on everyone's mind. So a lot of your friends end up going to work. So during that time, you don't have any money. You're stressing, you're working, but you have no financial benefit from what you're putting in. Yeah. So it's easy to take yourself out of that situation. It's like, you know what, I'd rather go work. I'll join my fellow friends that's at home that's working so I can earn money, so I can buy that name brand tackies, etc., etc. But like Sherwin said, like-minded people that keeps you on that path, saying that, you know what, we have a goal and we're going to keep each other accountable for that goal, comes a long way, because it takes a simple person's comment to sway your goals, and making sure that there's people out there that will bring you back on trail, especially in a long journey that the CA is. It's a 7-year journey. It's very important.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Sherwin, to put it to you succinctly, exactly the same question with my sort of emotive observations. You just keep your head down and just do what you got to do?
Yeah, it takes a lot of perseverance to get through it. So work hard. That's why I say, if you can work hard and you can set yourself a goal, you can get through it. There's going to be people that's going to try and take you off that path, as you recently mentioned. Your friends are going to have money. You're not financially independent. You depend on your parents during your studies, perhaps, or some other relative. And you're going to be distracted to stop this thing. But like I said, nothing difficult comes easy. So you just have to persevere through it.
Yeah. And Stephanie, when you hear the two of them talk, I mean, surely if all three of you would have, let's call it external forces, if anybody has experienced it, we're not the first person in the world to have experienced it, but all these people have moved to the heights that they were hoping to achieve, and and just enjoying in what they do. Do you agree with them?
100%. I actually had someone that tried to detour me from CASA,
Wow.
where I was put on a list and said I'll never make it in the BCom accounting route. I need to be redirected to BCom general. And I could have decided in that moment that, look, it's maybe not for me, maybe I can't do it. Coming from a very low math mark, which is seen as the be all and is all, being accepted into university, I could have easily said, maybe it's not for me. But I think, just persevering and being true to yourself and fighting through the difficult times. Because you can easily just let go and be like, it's not for me. I'll just do something else that's a bit more attainable in society's eyes.
Yeah, you know what?
Definitely.
Thank you for putting it there, because it is all cool and well. We say, yeah, no, you do this and we work hard. But I really wanted to know, did you guys experience it? But you had the support,
yeah.
and it does seem that the tools that you get, it helps you to do those things and sort of stay focused. And eventually, that is what it's about. So, Ensley Sammy says, how can one get a mentor from Thuthuka? Rushdie, do you know?
So I know that's again university specific. From a UCT perspective, each Thuthuka student was allocated a mentor. So that's the person that you go to for any. So that person just helps you pave the way through the year, because you are aware that majority of us are first generation graduates. So we don't know what necessarily lies in front of you.
Yeah.
So from a UCT perspective, we got allocated a mentor. But I'm not too sure from the other universities' perspective.
Sure. And you, Rushdie, you had one at your time at university.
Yes, so I got at the time, my mentor was an academic trainee, and that helped a lot. And for those of you that necessarily don't have a mentor, it doesn't need to be someone that gets allocated to you. If you know of anyone that you aspire to be like that person one day, reach out to that person. No one out there is going to say no. They're going to make time available. And it's nice just to get that reassurance and someone to pave the path for you, so that you know that you're also on the correct journey in reaching your goals.
Yeah. No, thanks for putting it so succinctly. We've got some really positive comments about the camp as well that we want to put it out there. MM says the camp is truly amazing, and big shout out there, Betty Abrams as well. It's just, yeah, camp is amazing. I want to go on the camp. I want to go pack my
There's
bag.
another one.
Yeah, Lauren Poole says the camp changed people's lives for the better. And that is what it's about. And all three of you have said that so far. Xavier Poole, without the camp, I honestly don't know where I would have been now.
Oh my
That's
word.
succinctly
My
put.
bag is packed. Let's go.
I'm packing a bag, man. Do I need to take a lot of stuff? You. Yeah, I want to pull a show and just go to the camp. Yeah, weekend away, come back and do something. That's the way you gotta do it. Now you know that camp works. If ever the camp needed a test, now you know that camp works, man. It absolutely works. You know what? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving us insights into this designation and sharing your time, and of course what it is like, and the wonderful advice, because that advice that you have given, that will definitely shape the future. It will aid the future, and of course is 100 aligned with what the SAICA Thuthuka Show is all about. So thank you very much for that. But before we leave, let's do final thoughts here, and I want to start off with Stephanie. Stephanie, any final thoughts from your side?
Just to those who are pursuing the career, just persevere. That's all I can say. Perseverance is going to get you through the tough times, and lean on a support system. It's the journey is worth your while.
Okay. And
Certainly is.
Definitely, definitely. And Sherwin, any last words, comments?
Persevere, like Stephanie said, and don't let anyone distract you or push you down. Set yourself a goal and achieve it.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Succinctly put, Rushdie. So you said earlier, you had your dream, you had your mentor that helped you, and if you had to repeat it all, you will do it exactly the same. You said that earlier. Any final thoughts from you?
So I just want to reiterate what Sherwin them said. I 100% testify to that. But also the one thing that I wanted to add, and I don't think we do it enough, especially as CAs and trainees, is give back. So you can, wherever you are in the journey, if you are second year, you can give back to your final year. Sorry, to the first year student. If you're first year, you can give back to your high school. So that needs to be succinct in our mind, is that we're getting those opportunities, but we also need to shape the next generation. So try and give back, even if it's 30 minutes a month. So please make that cognizant decision to give back.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well said.
No, absolutely wonderful, and thank you so much. And we would like to thank you for just being part of it. Absolutely wonderful for your input. So, Rushdie, thank you. Sherwin, thank you very much. Stephanie, thank you very much for your time and being part of the Thuthuka Show. And you've definitely inspired us. And also, you've inspired us to go onto the camp, firstly. And then, of course, you've certainly made sure that we know how wonderful your designation is. So, from us, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, if you're watching this and you've heard the testimonies there, you've heard what it's all about. They certainly have been very, very inspirational, our guests. What is also very important is we just want to recap, and we've got a short little video for you that we are going to play. And then when we come back, we'll give you all the details. And we've got 1 or 2 comments as well that we will wrap up with. So all you got to do is just watch that, because this will put everything into perspective for you.
Whether you want to be a business leader, financial decision maker, or entrepreneur, the chartered accountancy profession is your gateway to entering these exciting and challenging careers. Companies rely on CA's disciplined, insightful approach to business and their strong analytical skills to make business decisions that help their companies grow. CAs account for or explain financial transactions. This means you have to be good with numbers, as you'll spend your days documenting, describing, and explaining where money has come from and gone to, working out how well a company is doing, and helping them plan for their future successes. They are highly valuable assets who are knowledgeable in a wide range of essential business aspects, including auditing, mergers and acquisitions, taxation, risk assessment, and management in general. You'll find CAs working in all fields of business and in various contexts, from public practice to the private sector, as well as government institutions. So how do you become a CA? It takes 5 steps. When picking your subjects, make the right choice. Take maths, not maths literacy, and achieve a level 5 pass or more in grade 12. Go to the right university. Study a BCom undergraduate and postgraduate degree at a university accredited by SAICA. After university, enter a 3-year training program with a SAICA accredited training office to gain real-life, on-the-job work experience. Study for and pass 2 qualifying exams: the initial test of competence, or ITC, and the assessment of professional competence, or APC. Once you've passed your exams and finished your training contract, register with SAICA to become a CA. It's a 7-year process, but it's worth it.
Wonderful. So there's a brief summary. Brilliant, fantastic, and it really puts it succinctly, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely. And then obviously now the big question comes in. Sherwin, this question is posed to you. Information. Where does everybody basically get information? How do they go about becoming a CA and getting all the information? Could you give us that, please?
Our listeners can reach out to SAICA by calling 08610 SAICA. That's 08610 72422. They can also reach out via email, SAICA@saica.co.za, or visit SAICA's newly revamped website, which is www.saica.co.za/learner students. You can also find out more about the Thuthuka Bursary by visiting the Thuthuka Bursary Fund website at www.thuthukabursaryfund.co.za, or you can email your inquiries to at tbf@saica.co.za.
Thank you very much, Sherwin.
Thank you, Sherwin.
And that was Sherwin Thomas, everybody, CA-SA. We also spoke to Rushdie Sali, CA-SA, and then also Stephanie Bugan, CA-SA. And Ashley Savvy says, thank you. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You know what? It is all absolutely good vibes. Thank you, Ashley, for watching this. I wanna wrap up with one more comment quickly from Xavier Poole, who says, it might be a 7-year process, but you earn money starting your first year of traineeship. So yeah, kind of technically you don't then study for 7 years, isn't it? That's what it is.
I think there was just one more question or comment on Facebook quickly.
Yeah, so we've got one on Facebook as well from Jabbar Kasim Mohammed, who says, thanks for the greatest session. Thank you for a wonderful show. Do you think a deaf person can do this? Yes, you know what, I'm going to answer that. I absolutely think so. I absolutely think so. And what I would advise is exactly to what Sherwin said. Just simply visit the website. Go to www.saica.co.za. You go there, you will find all the information and all questions you have as well. Just simply visit the website at saica.co.za. As easy as that. Yes. So thank you for all the amazing questions. Thank you very much for all the amazing comments that we received during the show. And thank you very much as well to Sherwin, Stephanie, and Rushdie for being part of the show. And from both of us, that wraps up the SAICA Thuthuka Show. From myself, Dougald, and Rhoda, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.